Okay. So, what should we include or exclude in the new of our homes? Increase energy in that area, north northwest. Stefan, so here's the thing. As I said in the beginning, right now let's focus on what the attributes are of those zones, okay? In the next class, because if I start to get into what to do, what not to do, and towards the end of the class, I'll give you a little more understanding as to what not to do, okay? But next class, we're going to get into the cycle of destruction. The cycle of destruction tells you what elements, so say if it's north northwest is a water element, okay? If north northwest, which represents attraction, sex, passion, intimacy, what kind of stuff should not be brought into the north northwest? I'll get into it towards the end of the class. I'll give you a little hint, but we'll get into the bigger chunk of it in the next class. Okay, I just want to go. Okay, so this is north northwest, and if your north northwest is damaged, these are the attributes that are going to take a hit. Tina is saying work stuff should stay out of north northwest. Tina, it really depends. North northwest is it's you can say that, but if north northwest is showing positive connection with your 10th house, your 5th house in your birth chart, okay, then it is okay for you to do those activities there. And that's why I'm saying it would be like shooting in the dark for me to tell you what is okay for me to do in a certain direction, okay? Because this is a very general, this is the foundation. Basic Vastu is the foundation. And astrology is required to make any major changes. Okay, I'll get into some of the precautionary steps that you can take. That is going to be 100% regardless of your birth chart. Okay, which should be taken in mind. I'll give you some pointers towards the end of the class. Okay, let's just get through the attributes. So I thought you asked what should stay out of. Oh, I was answering. Okay, so this is north northwest water zone. These are the attributes. Again, if these attributes in your life are taking a hit, then check your north northwest. And what exactly to check in your north northwest, we'll go over that in the next class. The second thing is north. Okay, north. Money, opportunities, growth, promotions, sales. Okay, so it's a very important zone and it's still a water zone. It's owned by the planet Mercury. Okay, when this zone is disturbed, you will notice that the person is not getting any opportunities, is not getting any promotions or less promotions. I myself know someone, it's a client who has a stove in the north, okay? And it's taken her literally 10 years to get a minor promotion. Literally, she's been in the same company for 10 years and she has finally gotten her promotion after 10 years. So that's what anti-elements or undesired energies in the north can do to you. They will stop your opportunities, your growth, your promotions, even business, because sales. And once you get into the whole, once you start to connect this with astrology, you'll see because north is governed by Mercury. Right? Mercury is sort of a significator of business and astrology. A little side topic, but for those who have an understanding of astrology. Then we get north northeast. Okay, north northeast is still water zone. North northeast is extremely important for your health and recovery. Okay, if north northeast is damaged, not only will you take it's not the best for your health, the problem then becomes that your recovery will be hampered. Okay, and this can happen in many ways. It can happen in a way that you're just not able to recover. You can't find the right doctor, right? So keep in mind, it can manifest itself in many ways. You can't find the right doctor, you can't find the right medicine. And once you fix or heal your north northeast, I've seen it, I have personally seen it. I have seen cases where someone has been extremely sick and their north northeast was damaged. And after doing their treatment, some of them some of them recovered immediately or shortly after the treatment was done, okay? The healing started automatically. For some, what happened was they automatically ended up changing their doctor. For some, what ended up happening is their doctor automatically, after fixing their north northeast, their doctor changed their medicine through which they healed. So what I'm trying to say is that recovery and immunity and healing can come in any shape and form if your north northeast is balanced. Okay, keep in mind it is still water zone. Northeast is the most crucial place amongst other areas. One of them is the center of your house. Northeast represents your mind, clarity of mind, your vision, mental stability. Okay. While north northeast strongly signifies your immunity and your health, if your northeast is damaged, okay, if your northeast is damaged, keep in mind that your recovery will be very slow, and in some cases, recovery may not even take place. Okay, when we'll get into it in the next classes, but northeast is a very, very sensitive zone. Okay, it's one of the zones where remedies cannot be done. You cannot do any remedies if there is a if there's an affliction in the northeast. I've had cases where there was a lot of negativity in the northeast and the person had zero mental clarity, didn't know what to do in life, was just blowing their money, and illness is just out the roof. East northeast is more of a fun zone. Okay, so if you're looking at someone's east northeast, okay, east northeast is the zone of fun, recreation, happiness, and humor. When this zone is disturbed, you'll see people just in a bad mood. They don't care to have fun. Okay, there's no happiness, there'll be lack of humor. Okay. This now, as you see, north northeast was the last water zone. After north northeast, or sorry, after northeast, it switched to east northeast. And now it's air zone. This is the air zone. Okay, so we just went over what it represents. If you notice this, people in your house are just in a bad mood, they don't care to have fun, check your east, northeast. Okay, and yeah. The east direction of your house, also air element, is responsible for, if you go down the list, you'll get a hint, you'll get a sense that this direction represents your social connections. Okay, it's a social, public, networking, connections, and government. If this is damaged, your networking skills are going to be damaged. You won't be able to socialize. You won't have a good relationship with the public and even the government. Okay? The reason I say government is also because the element here is sun, and in astrology, sun governs higher authorities, including the government. Okay, so if you if you notice any issues in this area of your life, your east is damaged. Okay, and then after east comes east, south, east. Okay, bit of a negative zone, as you can tell, churning anxiety analysis. It's not a bad place to study. It's not a bad place to do your research because it's the zone of churning, okay, and analysis, right? So it's a zone, it's a place where you can sit and you can go deep into matters. Anything that you're researching, it's a good place to do it, but not for a long period of time. If your bedroom happens to be in the east southeast, keep in mind it also gives you anxiety. So if you spend too much time there, your sleep is not going to be the best. Okay, because it's specifically meant for these attributes: analysis, churning. Okay, so if you want to do research, you're involved in research related activities, this is a good place to do your research, but just your research. You're not going to hang out there for the rest of the day, you're not going to sleep there. Southeast. Southeast is this is the beginning, as you can see here. This is the last air zone. Southeast is a fire zone. Okay, and that is why generally when people do Vastu, they say that a stove or a microwave or a fireplace is generally speaking accepted in this area because it is a fire zone. Okay, generally speaking. Although it could still clash with someone's birth chart. Okay, so when you're doing someone's Vastu, it is very important you look at their birth chart. Or if you're getting your Vastu done by someone, it is extremely important that this person has a very good understanding of astrology. Okay, so the southeast represents cash, liquidity. Okay, the difference between the money that you see here, cash, and what we saw in the north direction is that this form of cash represents liquid cash. Some people may have money invested, RSPs, savings accounts, but they won't have access to it. So there's no liquidity. So if there's lack of liquidity, there's lack of liquid cash. You don't have cash in hand. Your money's always stuck somewhere. Southeast is the area that is damaged. Okay? Consider southeast also as, because it's a fire zone, consider it to be a flame. Okay, so this could be the very bottom portion of the flame. So if this is the flame, this would be the bottom portion of the flame. And the reason I say the bottom portion is because it's also the initiation. That's where the flame's initiated. Spark of your life, spark of life. So if you're sensing there's less spark, I don't feel like there's lack of initiation, southeast is damage. Someone just being lazy. I feel like there's no enthusiasm, no spark. Southeast is definitely 100% damaged in your house. Southeast represents the center. So if there's a flame, this is the bottom, this is the top. Southeast is the center portion of the flame. Okay, it gives you the power and courage to keep going. It gives you power and courage to keep that flame going, the center portion of the flame, right? It gives you the confidence. Lack of confidence to present yourself, to talk to others, is seen from this southeast. Also fire zone. The tip of a flame, okay, the tip of a flame is seen in the south direction. Okay, so tip of the flame is what you notice the most. Okay, it's tip. It's at the top. Therefore, it represents the flame. Sorry, not the flame. The fame. Your fame that you get. Politicians are seen from there because they're at the top. They get the most recognition and the most limelight, tip of the flame, which is fame. Government authorities are seen from this house. People at the top. Okay, if you have issues with any of these, south is damaged or imbalanced. There's many ways to look at it. So the next zone is going to be the earth zone. Any questions up until this point? Anything that's coming to mind? People who thought this was something else and it is actually something else? So,
Excuse me, I missed out. I missed on southeast. I was just about to finish writing the points, and it
okay,
was
south,
missing.
southeast.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Sorry, who's this?
Geisha.
Geisha, yeah, no worries. Good, it's a good thing that you're writing it down, but if
Yeah.
you send me an email,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that too,
I'm
actually.
gonna again write down my email.
Thank you very much. Thank
No
you.
problem. If you write me an email, I'll send you the slides, okay? Just give me 1 second here. 30-second break, give me 1 second. Geisha, your question's answered, right?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. South, southeast, this is your,
Yes, I got it down. Thank
okay.
you very much.
South, we just went over. South, southwest, okay? South, southwest is the house of, not the house of, sorry. It's the area of disposal, wastage, and expenses. What happens is that in general Vastu, okay, whatever you place in that area, you'll notice that it is being so-called exposed of, okay, being wasted. It is a good place unless it is not a good place in someone's birth chart. Generally speaking, through basic Vastu, it is a good place for garbage. Definitely, definitely not a good place for someone to sleep in, as you can probably already tell. Someone sleeping in this area, no good. South Southwest is stability, relationships, and skills. Okay. If you notice that there's lack of stability, whether in a relationship or in your life, professional life, or in any area, Southwest is to be analyzed. It will be disturbed. Even your skills, okay, back in the day, skills. So your tools, it's okay, again, generally speaking, unless it is not supportive in your birth chart, it is okay to keep your tools in this area that you use for your work, right? Any sort of tools that you use for your work can be kept here because it's the house of skills. Okay. West Southwest is a space element. It's the area of education, knowledge. Okay. If this area is damaged, you will sense issues in your knowledge, your kids' knowledge, their learning. I've often seen, okay, I've very often seen when I'm doing people's home vastu, is that say you're trying to get your kids to study, but they're more interested in playing basketball. I have very often seen that whatever is distracting them from studying, say if it is, say if it's video games, okay? You very often you will find those objects in the west southwest that are preventing you from doing what you should be doing. Okay. So first of all, keep this space should be balanced and shouldn't have anything that shouldn't be there. We'll go into the details later as to what should not be there. West is a very positive area. We should be kept clean because it shows gains in profitability and manifestation and accomplishment. Okay. Now for manifestation, this is what you are manifesting. Keep in mind, when it comes to you initiating something to manifest something, remember that was southeast. Okay. That was southeast. This is what you are now finally manifesting. A lot of times people, what they do is what they want to manifest in basic Vastu. What's taught is that whatever you want to manifest, if you want to manifest a house, a lot of people, what they do is they take a picture of a huge house that they want and place that painting or a picture in the west direction. Okay, generally speaking, it is okay unless it is not harming you in your birth chart. Okay. Your gains in profitability will be harmed if your west zone is damaged. West northwest. West northwest is another undesired zone, okay? It holds the energy of detoxification, okay? It is not a bad place if you want to go there for a bit to let out your emotions, self introspection, detox yourself, okay? For a short period of time, if you want to reflect, detoxify, okay? If you want to let things out, if you want to grieve, it's a good place to be. But is it a good place to be in for a longer period of time? Is it a good place to sleep there overnight? No, because it's also the house of depression. Very often, you will find people that are depressed, you will find them sleeping in west northwest. Northwest, okay, this is the last direction, the 16th direction, is the direction of support, banking, okay, administration, court, and litigation. Essentially, it is the zone of support when you're getting the support from others. And that support could literally be in any area of your life. Okay. A good example would be there was a client whose factory, they had damaged the northwest, okay, the northwest of their factory. And immediately after they damaged the northwest of the factory through renovations, okay? And it gets a little complicated as to what you can do, what you can't do. The damage through construction and renovations, they damaged the northwest of their factory. Shortly after they damaged the northwest of their factory, they started to see issues with their labor. So basically, labor started to leave. What that shows you is that they started to lose the support of the labor workers as soon as their northwest was damaged. Right? This can present itself in many ways. In their birth chart, I was able to see that their northwest is connected to the sixth house, which is also employees or co-workers. When you see that kind of connection, you will know where you're going to face lack of support. See what I'm trying to say? Okay. So this is, again, court litigation. If you find that you find yourself in a courtroom situation, litigation situation, you find that there's lack of support, whether it's through lawyers, whether it's through any other means, judges, your Northwest could very well and most likely will be damaged. Mood swings. Okay. Mood swings are seen from the Northwest direction as well. If you want me to explain it to you from a logical perspective, it's owned by the planet Moon. Okay, Northwest is owned by the planet Moon, and since Moon is the fastest moving planet, and even in astrology, an afflicted moon, if anyone knows astrology, shows mental imbalance. Okay, mood swings are seen from Northwest. If your Northwest is damaged, mood swings are seen from Northwest. While it is very important to keep this area clean, not a good place to really sleep in. Although a lot of Vastu people say that because it's the zone of support of banking, banking is money, sleep there and you will increase the energy of support and banking. You don't want to sleep there because the more time you spend in that area, the more mood swings you will be facing. If you and your wife or you and your husband are sleeping in that area, unless and until moon is getting a benefic aspect from other planets that facilitates sleeping, you do not want to sleep in the northwest direction. So we have now covered all of the directions. Okay, in the next class, we're going to go into the theory of destruction. What should not be placed in what area? Okay. I wanted to give you guys a very basic understanding before tomorrow. What is considered negative energy? What should not be placed? And that's pretty much 100%. Like, regardless of someone's birth chart, having those things in a certain area will cause issues. And what can we do about those issues? We'll get into that later when we get into the remedies and fixing issues. Gaisha has a question.
Yes, I have two questions. One is about west northwest, which is the space where we can detox, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So that means would you recommend that as a contemplation meditation space? Or not?
Meditation,
There
no.
is depression.
Contemplate,
Yeah. Go ahead.
contemplation,
Yeah.
self-introspection, yes. Meditation, no. Meditation would be northeast, would be probably, again, Gaisha, here's the thing. We're talking general, very generic Vastu, right? And that's probably what you've seen in Feng Shui as well. There's like a very set guideline. You do this in this direction and it will be fine. Basic Vastu, what you're studying right now is the foundation. The foundation, it's like you have a pizza, okay? And your dough is the foundation. Once you look at a birth chart, once you look at the birth chart, you are fine-tuning, you are personalizing someone's house. I never do anyone's Vastu if I don't have their birth charts. Okay. This right here is a basic foundation that it is recommended not to spend too much time in the west northwest because depression can happen. And 99.9 to 100% of the time, I have seen this happening. Self-introspection, reflection, okay, towards the end of the day or whenever you want to, towards the end of the day, probably not a good idea, but if you want to sit in that room and detoxify, you are missing someone, some loved one who's gone, grieving, like it's not a bad place to do that in that area. You're detoxifying, self-introspection. But when you talk about meditation, northeast is a good place. Generally speaking, northeast is a good place because northeast is owned by Jupiter, And Jupiter is also known as the guru in the Indian language, and guru is a teacher.
Thank you.
No, Northeast is a very auspicious and very sensitive place where you should not have any negative stuff.
Mhm. And my other question was about a compass, which is something that I don't know anyone personally that can give me that advice about what is the best compass that can be used.
So, um, say if I'm doing someone's birth chart, okay, and just a reading, just a birth chart reading, okay, I tell them, I tell them that you're gonna find this object in this area of your house, and they're often able to find it. And what I tell them is to stand in the center of the house and use the compass app. And the compass app on an iPhone I have found to be a lot more
Mm,
accurate than on an Android, hands
I
down.
see.
Okay. To further answer your question, how to take directions, directions are always to be taken from the center of the house. Always.
Of the house. Yeah, yeah.
Right? So say I'm doing someone's chart and they say that I'm having issues with my um, co-workers at work. Co-workers is sixth house. I will know something's damaged in the sixth house. Okay, so the sixth house has a direction. I will tell them what's placed in the sixth house and where to move it to. So they're able to stand in the center of the house, find the object that I tell them, and they're gonna move it to a different direction.
Yeah.
But if you're doing someone's full home vastu, okay, that's a long project. For a full home vastu, minor details become very, very important. Okay. In in a full home vastu, when someone is asking if it's okay for me, like some people tell me to assign bedrooms. Okay. And when in a bedroom, when you're assigning someone a bedroom, what matters the most is your head. Okay, so say although we're seeing west northwest as a negative zone depression, if this person has no other way to find a different room, I'm gonna say, okay, you remain in the west northwest room for using it as your bedroom, but we're gonna have to move your bed. We're gonna have to move your bed in a way that your head is no longer in west northwest. Even if it shifts from west northwest to west, you're no longer in west northwest, and therefore a more accurate reading of the house becomes very essential, for which you will need the engineering drawings of the house, specifically to scale engineering drawings, and your floor plans won't do anything because they're not to scale, if that means anything.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that was a perfect answer. Thank you. I appreciate
Welcome.
it.
Anyone else, any questions? Okay. Since there's no questions, before we wrap it up, I just want to tell you what
Sorry,
is,
there's one question.
yeah.
I don't know it's actually ending right now. Basically, yeah, I wanted to ask, when would it be possible to kind of go into some of these more advanced astrology connections and also Vastu? Because I feel like there's a lot of connections between astrology and Vastu that I'm seeing from this.
Right.
Um,
Right. No, you're right. So basically, what I'm doing right now is I am giving information for people to even understand what it is so they can develop an interest and see if it's for them. What you're asking is how to bring the connection in, and I am a strong believer that they're both very strongly connected, and you should not do someone's vastu without the understanding of astrology. I will be starting a what is it that's going to be damaging any zone and the attributes of those zones? first of all, is a toilet seat. Okay. And how we can work and do a remedy on a toilet seat, we will discuss this in the next class or the class after. Remedies of a toilet seat. And the second thing is garbage and clutter. Okay. If you want a one cookie cutter understanding of how you can maintain a clean zone, clutter, toilet seat, garbage bins. Okay. That's something you're going to find. Amongst other things which we're going to study, these are the things that you can remove, okay, from those areas. For example, north area is for business and growth and promotions and money. Safe to say that there should be no garbage in the north direction, regardless of what your chart says. Southeast, cash liquidity. No clutter, no toilet seat, no garbage. If there's clutter and if there's garbage seats. If there's garbage, easy to remove. But if there's a toilet seat in the southeast, not so easy to remove. So we'll have to do remedies. We'll tell you about those remedies in the next classes. Is that clear? Clear as mud?
Yep.
Perfect. So we'll finish it here. Any questions, or if you have any requests, send me an email and I will send you the slides and answers to any questions that you have. Okay?
I just wanted to say thank you very much for all the information and you volunteering to teach us.
Very
That
well.
means that you have a great heart. I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Gaisha. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Take care.